South African Slang Wikipedia. Alright, boys. I think I got it. Yeah, this is the page. Kick. I brew my coffee. Nice. Coffee is best brewed. Where's Brave? Hold up. Brave. Where'd it go? There it is. Alright, boys. It's time for learning. Let me see if I can move myself. I'll go tiny mode. Okay. So this is the list of South African slang words, okay? Pay attention, homies. You're gonna need to know this for your homework. You, Ascended Cobra, man! How you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate it, man. So, okay, South Africa is a culturally and ethnically diverse country, yada yada fish cake, with 12 official languages, you know? It's very much known for its multilingualism. Yes, music, probably older sister that femboy fuck. 9! Also, which one? I got a few. Alright, so we got a whole list of frequently used phrases in South Africa. And the really nice thing about South Africa is that our ability to mix between slang words of different languages together in the same sentence is pretty unparalleled. And I absolutely love it for that. It is a long history of using racial slurs and derogatory phrases. Some words have more recently been claimed as a mark of pride and defiance, for example, colored. Okay, so I need to quickly explain this word right here. I don't know if you guys have it over there in the US or elsewhere in the world, but when we refer to someone who is colored, this is not an insult, okay? This is something that we use as basically just a normal word, for people of mixed race descent. I think it's specifically if they're have about African and Afrikaans descent, and then that group of people would be called colored. You'd find a lot of them, especially in the Western Cape. Very no-nonsense people, guys. You do not want to mess with those people. Most serious topic, curses and slurs. The Russian I can understand. Yes. Okay, this is the one that I mentioned a couple times, known as futsak, or simply tsak. As you can see, it takes the last 4 letters. It's a fun way of telling someone to boop off. It is also used to scare unwanted animals away. So when I go overseas, you know, I'm going to be very terrified of all the animals because the dogs don't understand futsak. So how are you supposed to tell them to, you know, to go away if they don't understand futsak? Oh, man. Hey, shush. I don't even want to read this out loud. It's just too much even for me. But yeah, this phrase right here is a derogatory phrase that quite literally means yes. And it is true, it did come from the Western Cape. We have some very flavorful language here. It is more aggressive than the aforementioned phrase futsak. We also say it is cat cold, to use less colorful language. Say tsak. Sounds exactly like tsk. Don't like tsk. I see. Tsk, 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 tsk. Yep, this is also a thing. If you want to know what the actual gesture looks like. This is very rude in South Africa. Don't do this, people. We got a couple of cool slang phrases to go through. By fire, by force. I actually never heard of this one until I read the wiki. It's a phrase used to tell one that they're going to do something regardless of conditions. You're going to the doctor by fire, by force. Yes. There is no ifs, buts, and ands for this one. Chat, by fire and by force, the mods are going to take your balls. Dala what you must. I've heard this one many times. It's on us, guys. So this phrase is used to signify that one must do what they think is right or most appropriate in the situation. For example, you know, if that's a bad situation, you have to dala what you must, you know. So if you ever face a difficult situation and you gotta do what you gotta do, you must dala what you must. Yes. And in South Africa, ID photo does not mean ID photo. ID photo has 2 meanings. I'm back. Yes, sorry, I was joining another Afrikaans streamer. She she had a big laugh. Let me guess. It was Katanya is here. Is that her? She's the only other South African VTuber I know that speaks Afrikaans. Obviously, she's a lot bigger than me. You know, I only recently got into the whole VTubing thing. Hopefully, I can grow. Maybe one day we can eventually have a South African VTuber collab. That would be the dream. But yeah, is that Afrikaans streamer Katanya by any chance? If not, well then, now you know a new VTuber that speaks Afrikaans. Katanya is here. A very good VTuber. Very funny. So yeah, ID photo. The washing of your face and teeth only serve your whole body. I'm late, so I'm going to do an ID photo. So yeah, boys. Whenever maybe you're late, whether it's for work, you know, for a date, and you only manage to do your face and teeth, that's called doing an ID photo. And never shake someone's hand with the left hand. Yes, left hand, You're gonna get hit with a shambok if that's your uncle. Always right hand, guys. Always right hand. We don't care if you're left-handed. We don't care if you're left-footed or right-footed. Right hand only. Katanya is Wait, what? She graduated? I didn't even know that. No, it's so sad. So does that mean I'm the only South African VTuber left? Oh, damn. That's sad. Oh, well, I guess it happens. Is not to make sure. Another good one. To say something is not good, not convincing, and overreach or delusional at worst. The new chips flavor is not make sure. So when Nintendo charges you $90 for Donkey Kong, you tell them that game's price is not make sure. It's very much not make sure, guys. Yeah, known South African VTuber. Yeah, true. Like things. You used to call someone nosy. That likes things, yes. So when someone's trying to, you know, ask you too many questions, he likes things. Very nosy. Same WhatsApp group, another popular expression here, you know. Used when two or more things are alike, you know. Those two stick with each other because they are in the same WhatsApp group, yeah, you know. So when you got two best friends, you're always with each other, yeah, same WhatsApp group. Oh yeah, this is probably the best example I give to other people that are not from South Africa. Time. And Dipus33 will confirm that this is true. Normally, in other English-speaking countries, when you say you're going to do something now, you would assume it means do it right away. You know, do it now. However, boys, in Zuid Africa, the phrases now, just now, and right now all have different meanings. Now means minutes later, and then we'll get to the expanded definitions just now. Just now means hours later. Right now means actually now. And they give us some nice examples. So, I'm going to see a movie just now. I'll drive there now. I'm at the movies right now. And remember if you came back home with a battle board, your mother would sit there with a shambok and wait for you. Oh, that is so true. That is so true, man. Do you know what we used to do? Like, to check your report card. We would take the report card, the envelope that it comes in for your marks. We would boil the kettle. And we would hold it over the kettle so the steam loosened the glue. Then we would look inside. And if it was bad marks, if there was red numbers in there, you would go to your room, you would take out as many pairs of pants as you can get, and you wear them all. Because you know, shambok is coming for you when your parents get home. Shambok is basically a whip. Very, very sturdy whip, for those of you guys who don't know. Anyways. So, I'm going to see a movie just now. I'll drive there now. I'm at the movies right now. This basically means I'm going to see a movie in an hour or so. I will start to drive there in a few minutes. I'm at the movies now. Yes. Okay. We got a couple of interesting English words that I didn't even know existed. Like the canyon crab. I've never heard anyone call me a canyon crab. I don't even understand how that came to be. And clutch plate? Okay, I knew about Kazi. Kazi is basically a swimming costume, you know. Swimming costumes, swim shorts, bikinis, they all fall under Kazi. Dutchman. I didn't even know this was derogatory. It doesn't even sound derogatory. Technically speaking, 50% of all Afrikaners are from the Dutch line, so... Not really derogatory. Rock Spider is pretty funny. No one's called me a Rock Spider before. Zamalek. This is a new one. I didn't know about Zamalek. Okay, I know what Black Label is. Locally brewed and licensed, derived from the Egyptian football team, the same name because the team colors. Oh, okay. Yeah, people love a good black label. Okay, now we get all the nice slang words. The Afrikanerisms, Buddha. So, Aya, that's brother, and Rasta. ABBA, not to be confused with the Swedish pop group ABBA. You would put 89 underwear, 9 pants, if it's not round 1. If your father got home, you were round 2. Yeah, there was a double discipline was definitely a thing here in South Africa. When your mom found out, Shambok, dad got home, he finds out round 2. So yeah, to carry someone, normally a child, on one's back. So when you want ABBA, you want to be piggyback. A frictionary. So that's just the website for African Slang Dictionary. Maybe we can visit that. Achman. Well, technically this is pronounced Achman, not Agman, which translates to O man. Ach is the Afrikaans equivalent to O, true. Like the German Achtung. Man is pronounced as Mun in Munches. It's more Man, like M-A-H-N rather than M-U-N. Ach, shame. Now, this is an expression that makes people really confused because we're like, shame on you type of shame. But it's actually an expression of pity and sorrow, depending on the context. So, ach, shame, Daddy Baba is the Oleg. Oh, that baby's too cute. Ach, shame, the arme hond is dood. Oh, shame, the poor dog has died, So that's kind of what it means. It's a word of sorrow down here. And they would count how many times Yep. If you have any on the legs, gotta make up for it. Auntie, an older female authority figure, derived from the English aunt, with the original meaning still intact. So if you guys are from, Europe, from America, you call an older female authority figure, auntie, auntie so-and-so, auntie. So, singular, by the way, is for a aunt. However, if you say aunties, plural, you could either mean aboba, or it could be many aunties. So context is very important, okay? If you're visiting a female friend, and maybe her aunts are in, and they serve you some lekker malva pudding, don't say to her, "Je het baie moeilike aunties," okay? You're basically, even though you're trying to compliment her aunties or being really nice to you, you're basically saying she's got nice aboba. Be careful, boys. They started going over 10 euro, that's a real bad report. True. Awe, or just awe, pronounced ah-we, said in excitement. So, it's kind of like the Afrikaans equivalent of PogChamp, but it carries a much more, diverse meaning. It's like, awe, my boss said I can go home early, like, woohoo! Or, okay, cool. It's the same as the pop culture slang, yes. The word has many meanings and uses, It's quite an umbrella. Hello, goodbye, yes, cool. Pretty much a universal word. Awe me bro means hello, my friend. There's also how's it, yoit, who's it, and yo, which basically also means hi, how you doing? Now we get to the interesting ones, Babelek, someone who talks a lot. Kind of like Babelmouth. He's babbling a lot. Similar word. Babelbeck basically means babble-mouth. This one's one of my favorite ones. Babalas. It's a hangover. And this is not just, normal hangover. This is the hangover. This is you drank 5 bottles of vodka and your head feels like there's jackhammers on the side of your ears. You greet your friends. Aweme bru vatse, yes, which basically translates to, hey, my brother, what do you say? Even though it's technically speaking a greeting. Whew. Let me drink more of my drink. This is delicious. Or some more cool ones. Ah yes, bakhat. Cool expression of appreciation for something well accomplished, Your friend in 5th grade, he builds a circuit. Bakhat. And this does not say a bakor, okay? This actually says bakura, which means bowl ears. Bak meaning bowl, ura meaning ears. It refers to people who have protruding ears. You know, kind of like Dumbo, the elephant. Yep, like bull's handles. And a bakkie, it's a utility truck or pickup truck. It's now a mainstream word in South African English. Can also refer to a small plastic container or bowl. So if you guys ever have like ice cream with 2 liters, and then you finish the ice cream, then you'll just wash it and keep a bowl that you can put in your leftover foods in. Yeah, we call that a bakkie. Also, your utility or pickup trucks, those are bakkie. If you ever get into a conversation with an Afrikaner, he will tell you about his bakkie. And there is no escaping that conversation. You must know about his Hilux. Photos uploaded, my underworld femboy fox who commanded. Thanks, man. We'll definitely check it out after the stream. Balas means balls. Quite literally, the testicle. Bali, so not to be confused with miniature ball, okay, is close male friend. Sometimes on occasion used to refer to an older man. Can also describe an old man as irritable, a bit crabby. And of course there's Obali, which means father. My Obali used to tell us a story. So kind of like, oh jeez, where Americans would say my old man, yeah, we would say Obali. And then of course there is Balsak, not to be confused with futsak, refers to bolsak, discrutum. And a bangbroek, scaredy pants. This does not mean bang pants, okay, people? Scaredy pants. Because bang means scared. Whoa! Gee, whiz, holy jump scare. Wikipedia page jump scare. Nobody saw that, guys. Nobody saw that. Oh, goodness me. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to get a Thunder Cobra to edit that out of the VOD. Accidentally hovered over it. My bad. Oh man, no one saw that, right? No one saw that. We say a dad referring to old man means grandfather. Really? Okay. Interesting. Hold up, we've got a paragraph here. And you must never, and I mean never, call someone that is 10 years older than you. You can never ever call them jy of jou. It's hello oom, hoe gaan dit met oom? If you greet your mom, hello ma. Hoe gaan dit met ma? Same with your father, call them their name. Call them, never call them yay and yo. You will get true. So let me explain for you guys. If someone is 10 years or above your senior, you never use you and your in Afrikaans. You always address them as oom, which means uncle, or tannie as auntie, or if it's your mom, you greet them as ma. If it's a pa, you greet them as pa. Opa, you know, for grandfather, oma for grandma, etc. Never ever use first names. If you want the harding, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a big spanking. And not like, you know, a couple of slaps. No. They're gonna take the nearest hard object. We're going to get a good pounding. Okay, let's see. What else have we got here? Bufok. Really good, exciting, cool. The rock show was bufok. Do not confuse with that. Okay, that is cuss words, people. It also means extremely angry. He was my English and Afrikaans is getting a bit mixed up. He was so bufok he could scream. Also means extremely crazy. Bevoeterd, bedonderd, bemoerd. If someone describes himself as in die moer or bemoerd, you need to hightail it out of there. It means extremely angry, similar to die donderd. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, donder is a translation of the word thunder. So they are bethundered, okay? That's what the expression directly translates to. Usually used to refer to a person who is often in a bad mood, or is currently in a bad mood. Bergie, from the Afrikaans word berg, or berg for you guys, which literally means mountain. Wait, is it berg or is it berg? I don't remember. Originally referring to the vagrants who sheltered in the forests of Table Mountain. It pretty much, that's a word for the subculture vagrants. Homeless people, especially in the Cape. Beter bang Jan as a dooie Jan. Better be a scared Jan than to be a dead Jan. So the J is kind of pronounced like a Y. So basically, better safe than sorry. And you call someone with my username who is annoying, rude, or an idiot. Yes. Pretty much. There's a couple of good ones. And of course, boer literally means farmer. Boer maak plan, a very popular one. Farmer makes a plan. Creative solutions, often low cost and innovative. Let's see, boerewors. Guys, did you know we actually have laws about boerewors in this country? If they're not up to a certain quality and standard, you legally cannot sell it as boerewors. So it's a popular spice meat, mixed meat spice sausage. Literally means farmer sausage. But if you call it sausage, you're going to get murdered. You do not call this a sausage, okay? You call this boerewors. Sausage is like the, it's like the turd to the gem, and the boerewors is the gem. And of course the boerewors roll, the boerie roll, it's the South African equivalent, in quotation marks, to the hot dog. And sometimes you'll have the boerewors with an onion relish, you know, called, I think it's chakalaka, or something like that. And so, boermakaplan, yeah. I cannot overstate just how much better the boerie roll is than the hot dog. I would cry if I only had hot dogs, man. If you ever smell the smell of a boerewors roll stand, you know the taste of life. And of course a bugger means literally nothing. So basically nothing burger is the buggerol burger. What's another good one? Let me see if I can find one. Braai, there we go. Even though they say it's a barbecue, it's not a barbecue, okay? If you dare call a braai a barbecue, you're gonna get smacked. Okay, braai. There we go, lekker braai. A barbecue, to barbecue, from braaivleis, grilled meat, used as a mainstream word in South African English, specifically to grill meat on open fire, and it's always open fire, never close fire. As a noun, it is also the literal area / object used for grilling in the meat. In this case, the barbecue grill and stand would be the braai stand. My god, if you use gas, it's not a real braai. Wood, charcoal, nothing else. Braaivleis would be the braai meat. Braaibroekies, toasted sandwiches, grilled over an open fire or an open flame. Very delicious. Oh yeah, then we got bro, bra, brew, boetie. Pretty much close male friend, term of affection. So pretty much calling someone else your brother. Yeah, cherry. Sexy woman with the fruit cherry. Which is kind of funny because the VTuber Kirsche, her name is basically the same word as cherry in German. So if you want to talk about Kirsche in Afrikaans, you would say, you know, you're watching cherry. And so people will assume you're talking about you are watching a sexy woman. Which is technically correct, but, you know. Ah yes, dacha. Commonly used for marijuana. Oh, here's another one. Die donneren, die muren, die bliksemen. Exceedingly angry. This is like Hulk rage. Oh, hello kitty. Psst, psst, psst. Domkop, dumbhead. Yeah, there's a lot of really good ones. Dop. Booze. Meow. Yeah, no. Meow. I think he wants to come out. Do you want to go out the door? Meow, meow, meow. Eh? There we go, you can go. Bye-bye. Hey, Smugalana, welcome man. You managed to make the great and awesome 1-year anniversary. Welcome on in, man. Hope you're having an awesome time. And of course, these are all the very, very spicy South African slang words we're looking at. Flow, unfunny, weak joke. Afrikaans word for weak. Can also refer to weak coffee or tea, weak alcoholic drink. So if someone's a flow, they're a beta. Chom is used for friends or use it to intimidate someone. Like for example, ja my chom, wat sê jy? That is used for friends, and hoe reed chom? It is used to intimidate someone. Yes. So a lot of the Afrikaans words, it's used for its use case depends on the context. So on one hand, you could say, you know, that Owen over there, he's my chom, he's my friend. Or if someone says, listen, yeah, Tommy, then they're very angry at you. And of course, you guys can read for yourselves. All of these spicy words. Oh yeah, if you guys want to ask Pixar for hole, tell him to show gat. Wys vir ons gat, which means hole. I'm pretty sure it's also the same word for gate, if I'm not mistaken. Can also be shortened to the word of gaan. Going to yes. Okay, I better not pull that up. I don't even want to know what that is. Oh no, it's not. It's gate, which is pronounced gate. It literally means quirks. Interesting. Interesting. Goffel. Ugly girl or woman. Afrikaans is a great dude, it's so confusing. Just trying to explain to foreigners the difference between no, net no. Is it you just have to know. There's no explaining it. Yeah, gooi means you chuck, you know? To throw. Goose. I don't know if this is goose or goose. It doesn't quite tell us. It says it's Afrikaans slang, so it might be goose. Also, cherry, a young woman or girlfriend, used mainly in the 50s. Then if it's used in the 50s, then it's probably goose. Gril refers to a person having adverse sensory reactions something is considered disgusting. Okay. Hair raising. Ik gril myself the word for. I got freaked out by. Not a really translatable word, but hopefully you can kind of get on the understanding of it. Gooi, cigarette. Give me a cigarette. Dan gooi. Let's see. Hier kom groot. So like whenever we run into the scrakes with me and Malto, this is the phrase we're gonna use. And then of course he also mentioned who's it, which is pretty much means how's it going. I think it's short for hoe gaan dit, and it's been shortened to how's it or who's it. Yeah, it's similar to how's it. Why I must remember, yes. Ek hou jou dop has two meanings, mostly used by parents. It could mean I'm holding your alcohol, or it could mean that I have an eye on you. Yep. Also true, also true. Hoer en remoer. Hoeing around. By throwing wild parties or having casual sex, which is about it. So whenever you see those Twitter ladies busy posting their OnlyFans, hoer en remoer. My favorite. Hier kom groot. You know when they say, you know, it's about to hit the fan? Yeah. It's similar to this, but this one has more weight behind it. Will guys stop the lorry? Whoa there, stop the lorry. I'm surprised it's not Bucky instead of lorry, but yeah. Hello, Fisale. Often used to call an immediate halt on whatever is being done, using in conjunction with a possible undesirable outcome. Yes. So if like you get one of those work factory accidents, you gotta stop the lorry. Hol. Literally means hollow, refers to run very fast. Die man hol so vinnig means that man's run so fast. Also refers to the show hole, Pixo, show hole. Holsierend. I didn't even know this was a thing. So if you're laughing hysterically. Whole floss. Wait, what? It's a G-string. As I said, boys, a very, very colorful language. There is this weird dichotomy between how respectable you're supposed to be in Afrikaans culture with just how vulgar the language is. Wanneer die kap van die strict means whenever something bad is about to happen, yes. Honda, informal pronunciation of onderdogs. Oroch, hot dog. Usually made with Vienna sausages. Hottentot. Oh, never mind. That's a derogatory term. Whoopsie. Never even heard of this one before. Hottentot or Hottentot's god is Afrikaans for praying mantis. That is a very interesting. I didn't even know about this one. Oh yeah, hou je bek? Zip it. But this is usually a lot more threatening. When someone tells you to, you know, keep quiet or shut up, that's one thing. They say, hou je bek? Usually implies a threat behind it. Huis toe gaan tyd, time to go home. Yep. From to home, go time. Yes. Hope you're all learning. Unsemuren, badly damaged, destroyed. Rude, often considered profanity due to muru, which means beat up, often used in conjunction with murim. So, how do I put this? If you've ever sat on a TV, this is what happens to it. Yeah, those words can also be used differently. In the oppie? Oh, combined spellings of in the and on the. Interesting. Unsechlorian, same as above, considered to be less rude. So something's in its glory, in all its glory. It's actually the opposite of what that means. It actually means badly damaged or destroyed. So normally when, like, you know, you present to your friend, like, look at my my mighty military vessel, you know, the HS Wunderbar or whatever. Look at it in all its glory, you know, it's a good, positive. You say something in its glory, it's bad. It's basically a barely functional toaster. In your noppies means you are thrilled. Epiconders. Epicorners. Hypochondrias. Oh, I didn't even know about this. So yeah, when I say ja, I'm not LARPing German, guys. It actually means yes in Afrikaans. Jacob Gerop literally means Jacob upright, refers to next time chat posts was gooning emote, I'm gonna say Jacob Gerop. Ah yes. This is literally Malto. So many ways to use Afrikaans. Yes. The combinations are endless. Jakkals trouwen met wolfse vrou. A jackal weds wolf's wife. Refers to a weather phenomenon known as monkey's wedding. Culture true. Can be used to describe an unlikely situation. So basically when it's sunny and the sun's out and it's raining at the same time. Like, you know, you can bask in the sun's rays while being showered with water from on high. That is the monkey's wedding, or jakkals trouwen met wolfse vrou. Yucks. 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 Oh. Jenne Messi, je maakt mij nou sommer lekker jaks. So that means, you know, girl, you make me now very lekker, very nicely horny, very, very good horny, something like that, I don't know. It's hard to properly word for word translate this in English. Yanya literally means yes, no. Despite the fact that it's, oh, thanks for the posture check. Ugh. So even though it means yes, no, it's actually a positive confirmation. So it doesn't mean yes, but it's a confirmation of whatever said before it. So it's dis warm vandag. So if you say it's hot today, I'll say Yanya, which means I confirm your statement to be true. But you wouldn't use it in the same way you would use yes. So if I say, would you like a cup of coffee? You don't tell me Yanya, you tell me ja. So, Jesus is Afrikaans for Jesus, or good Lord. Usually used to convey shock or exclamation, but I think the proper word for this would be die Here, which is the Lord. And die Here is spelt the exact same as the English phrase die here. So if you drive past an Afrikaans church, you see a giant sign that says die here. which basically means the Lord in Afrikaans. Yes, but jaks and yo. Yes, that is another good one. There's so many good ones. Jan Arman. Basically, Jan everyman. So the average Joe, Jan Arman. Let's see, what else is there? Yep. Informal, yes. Oh yeah, this is the yo. I think it's sometimes actually spelled with a J-O-H, not J-O. I think the wiki needs to be updating. Yo, that was rude. Yo, you gave me a fright. And then we have jol. To have fun, to party, like what we're doing here. Can also refer to a disco or party. To commit adultery. Or even dating or courting. If you're going out for a like a jol, you're going to have fun. You're going to party, you're going to a disco, you're going to commit adultery, or you're dating or courting. The meaning varies very wildly, depending on the context. I'm so glad you're teaching English people the art of Afrikaans. I'm doing my utmost best to make Zuid-Afrika great again. And there is, if you guys look at the fellow Afrikaner in chat, you'll see a certain word in his username followed by D, which means the. And this is what it translates to, so you can imagine his username means, the... Yo? No party, no disco, no commit adultery, no dating, no courting, no fun. Yes. Juffie, shortened version of Juffrou. It's a shortened version of the formal title given to address a young unmarried woman. Mejuffrouw Mus. It is also the formal title given to address a female teacher of any age or marital status, whereby Juffies would be considered informal. Yes. So if you refer to your teacher, you say Juffrou. Yes, not of sound mind. Don't be yes. Moenie yes wees nie. So basically you're being stupid, being ridiculous. Somebody about to lick an electric fence will be yes. More commonly used amongst the Cape Colored community, but it's understood. Oh, Gagat, which means naked. So yeah, Kal means naked. It's a more humorous description. It just means I'm a knowing person, yes. That's pretty much what it can be used for. The meanings are endless. Kaapse Doctor, Cape Doctor. A strong southeastern wind in the Cape Peninsula area. So, when I say, when I'm talking about the Cape Doctor, it's not a doctor, it's just the wind. Called the Doctor due to the belief that it clears the Cape Town of its air pollution. It doesn't, but yeah. What other one? So, cafe refers to cafe. It can refer to small, non-coffee serving grocery shops or tuck shop. Okay, you see this word right here, boys? Never say this word in public. If you guys thought the N-word was bad, this is like 10 times worse. Even the racist people will hit you for saying this. Okay, it is the big no-no. You can say nuclear, the N-word, all you want. You never say this, okay? Never in public. No. Don't never say that in public. In South Africa. You will not come home alive. It's not just frowned upon, it is. But hey, I love my username. I wonder what torture it must have been to have it as your actual name. Who knows? And of course, K-A-K. It can be used for pretty much everything. So it means poop. But it also means pretty. So you can say that the girl is poop pretty. And it's a compliment. The Antwoord. Nice. Welcome back, man. Poop and bay. Spending all your hard-earned money on family and friends and having none left for yourself. I feel like some of you guys can relate to this. Closest English equivalent is cough it up and pay up. He's right. Nowhere near the same amount of power. If English is just regular speech, Afrikaans is the words of power from the Dragonborn. Femboy Fox. 9! Kan nie is dood van krywersdood. Literally, I can't died from pushing a wheelbarrow. So it means I can't died from pushing a wheelbarrow. Oh man. The phrase ekani, which means I cannot, is personified as a lazy man. So basically, lazy person died from pushing a wheelbarrow. It's used as a form of motivation and discipline, implying that if you can do a physical task as easy as pushing a wheelbarrow, you're more than capable enough to do any kind of hard work. Yes. So poop spit means a very small amount of something. Actually sounds almost like Russian. Kata. Yes, pretty much. It's the same. So yeah, khaki, this is referring to the type of pants we wear. You know, the type of clothes we wear, old khaki. Very good brand. Lots of Afrikaners, especially the farmers, wear this. You can also call your fellow Englishmen that. And of course, this is the cattles. The cattles are coming, watch out. It's more commonly referring to boyfriends. If you got a boyfriend, you'll say he's the cattle. And then the girlfriend, I think, is a cherry. Was it curry? I don't remember. Curry in rice. Curry and rice. So it's a variant of curry served with rice. And a blatjang. Very cool. Speaking of very cool, kif or kif, not to be confused with the yif, means wicked, cool, neat, great, wonderful. Derives from the Arabic word kif, meaning pleasure or manner or honor. Interesting. Can be also related to the word for poison, khuf. Interesting. Kif, yeah. So something like kif, it's pretty cool. My older brother used to use this a lot. Clanky, a sound. Is not robots, it means a sound. Can also mean unpleasant smell used in conjunction with clank, pronounced as in clunk. Yes. Clap. Curry, yes. We do make good curry. Also, hey Mose, what's up man? Welcome to the anniversary stream. Thank you so much for popping in. So, to clap is smack. By the way, when we say smack, okay, we mean, when we say clap, we mean the hand of God descends from heaven and smites you where you stand. That is the clap. You're clapped in the bar. It's like this, but it's much, much worse. Kop clap. Getting smacked all over the head. Especially done if you're bald. Never say the K with your, if you say that, EFFD and other politics with 300 police officer. Yes. It is extremely bad. You guys can think of any racial slur you want. It is nowhere near as bad as that word. It is exponentially worse. Yes. Clicky, click back, a tattletale. So a tattletale, basically. Clippies, clip and go, clip drift. A brandy. Usually leading to China's getting bliksem. So, China's, yeah, is to your mates, your friends, your muchachos, your China. Someone's your China, you know, your buddy. I would teach you. Katyusha? Yes. And if you're getting... and this... It also means to be physically beat beyond repair. It also means to get drunk. Clipsock, stone stroke. Jokingly refers to a person who can't swim. Pretty much, yep. Clocky is bells. Nice. Wait, what? Oh yeah, so you guys have balls, we have balls and we have bells. Goodbye? Oh, let's just goodbye. And cook is cake. Can also refer to a response to a situation. Oh cook, oh cake. Clumped hair that is messy. Your hara is gekoek. Your hair is very messy and difficult to brush. Cake can also refer to... Nice cake, chat. Anyways, your mother and father would... Yeah, they would... Your parents would annihilate you if you said that. And you get... True, you also get balas. Gnata is true. Cook's sister... We basically have like a dozen different words for it. By the way, if you haven't had a cook sister, you haven't lived. This stuff is divine. Sweet pastry, fried and dipped in honey syrup, shaped in the form of French braid. It doesn't have anything to do with sibling, which cake sister is basically what it translates to. A sister is sister in Afrikaans. The sis refers to the sound it makes when fried in oil. S. Add a cook job. Is that how you do it? Thank you. Oh man. I don't even know if I can say this word on stream because it's technically used as a very... It's used as a hate slur for certain minorities, so I probably can't read this word out loud. But I'll scroll down to M so that you guys can see what this means. So I'll tell you coffee. Coffee means coffee. Means a camp male waiter or male flight attendant. Now we're going to read what this means. Let me go see if I can find M. So if you're a flight attendant, or if you're one of those camp attendants, you are a coffee this. Lot Lamaki, basically youngest child in the family, especially there's a significant age gap. Lach. Do we see any funny? Yes, laugh. Yeah, laugh put. Lach means to laugh. It's not lag, okay? If I'm laughing, I'm not lagging. I'm laughing. Let's see what other good ones we got. Lekker, probably a good one, all-rounder. Means pleasing, tasty, nice, good, great, delicious. It's used for pretty much everything you find nice. How's the party lekker? Met een lekker chick last night. Local is lekker. Popular slogan promoting South African coffee and culture and produce. How's the steak? Lekker, bro. Unlike its English counterpart, nice, use of the word lekker is actually promoted instead of frowned upon, despite being very commonly used. It is speculated that lekker would never become cliché. Yes. What is it? Lost kop head. Lost head. And loslappy means person who suits a lot or not. Lus, they have craving for. Very educational stream, thank you. Oh, by the way, Son of Cobra, we may have had a very a hiccup in the stream that you might need to edit out. I accidentally hovered over one of these highlighted blue words, and it basically put a giant picture of a scrotum over my stream. So I'm gonna need you to edit that out, pretty please. Just bear that in mind. Do not get a jump scare when you see that at the bottom. Please edit that out. That's why I'm pretty much avoiding all the blue. Nia, keep? No, we can't. I don't want to get banned. Yeah, those big oops. It's like a reading. Suddenly, balls. Did you teach them nai? Now nai is a word with multiple meanings. Yes. So nai is well, it's an M, so we'll get to N. It basically means so, but it has a suing. Let's got a couple more. Mart, friend, Maul, you're basically crazy. Keep the scrot 9. Yeah, we got Mampara. You guys heard me say this word. Refers to a dud or brick made from recycled clay and mortar. It basically means idiot. So people in government are all Mamparas. The people who make Call of Duty, Mamparas. The people making Ubisoft game, all Mamparas. The people who handled the Epstein case, Mamparas. The Democrats, Mamparas. You name it, it works. Milk tart is basically milk tart. Traditional custom tart. Oh, people love milk tart down here. Unlike a conventional custom tart or milk tart, has a strong milk flavor and best served with a dash of cinnamon. See, we'll bring it up. Please don't be giant balls. Okay, no. So yeah, it's very delicious. 10 out of 10 recommend. People even sometimes replace this with birthday cake. So for birthday, you might end up getting milk tart. Very good. Mealie means maize. Yep. Mealie meal. Oh yeah, pap is another staple. It's a type of porridge. Very good, very good. And then of course we have... This is what you do if you're ever a flight attendant. You are a coffee this... I can't say this on stream because Twitch could ban me. And then of course there is mood coffee. Hold on, let's go to this one first. Means to hit or fight with. But it is much more aggressive than to hit or fight someone with. You know, if you're gonna say, you know, Exalio, Slan or whatever, okay, you're gonna smack the guy. you're threatening physical violence. This is you're threatening a near-death experience. This is what you're threatening people with when you say this. And then, so, when you use it combined with the word for coffee, you get a near-death experience level strength of coffee. So very, very strong word here. If you do something stupid, like hitting a screw with the hammer instead of screwing it in, people go about it. Yeah, pretty much. You're basically a moron. It's like our word for retard. And of course, the moon meter. It comically describes a person's temperament for their tolerance of BS. Derived from the red thermometer and used as a metaphor, illustrated by an old duck when he gets mad. Yeah. So when this is full, then this happens. You never want this meter to get full. If it's full, it's over. It's over. So, you know, you guys have degrees of comparison. You have big, you have bigger, you have biggest. After that, we added a fourth one called Mursa, which is a very, very strong word for big, okay? That is the fourth degree of comparison for big. Yep. It's very low, yes, thankfully. Okay, well, not thankfully. When it's low, usually it's very easy to set off, so... And it depends on what you mean by low. Low as in you're not angry, or low as in it's very small threshold for you to get upset. Want some? Trust me, we get some strong coffees down here. The stuff I've tasted down here, the Americans when they come here and they have our coffee, they tell me it makes American coffee. It tastes like tea. Yeah, we also have mompi, another word for mampara. Mula is money. When you guys ever play Killing Floor 2 in here, money, money, money. It's actually mula. Mula, mula, mula. Mos. Another good one. Implies that what has been said is well known or self-evident. It's very small, just standing next to me could make me mad. Yeah. A formal part of grammar, the closest English equivalent would be da. Ik drink mos tea. I drink tea da. Although it's a very loose comparison, but that's the best way we can explain it. Use it at the end of a sentence, as in, je weet mos. Obviously, as you know. Musie poop. Sparrow fart. Refers to very early waking up time in the morning. So this is Malto right here. He's the musie poop. He's the sparrow fart because he wakes up before 6. A muggie is a bug, specifically flying gnats. What else we got? There we go. There's noi, which directly translates to sew, from the action of sewing machine needle. But informally speaking, it also means that. Und dat. And of course there is ne, which means, do you know what I mean or agree? But really, is that not so? Or the British in it, similar to the French n'est-ce pas and Portuguese ne, meaning isn't it? Je hou van tea, ne? You like tea, not so? Informal. It's pretty much the South African English equivalent to hey. Eish, it's cold, hey? Example, jy het mos gister vir my gesê jy gaan vandag die huis skoon maak, ja. Which basically means you yesterday told me that you're going to clean the house today. Duly noted, people. 19 voetsak, okay? This is 19 voetsak. Pronounced, as I said it, refers to a date in the early 20th century with voetsak, go far away, referring to a very early date. Translation, a very long time ago. Often used when the specific date isn't known. So if I refer to 19 voetsak, that's when something happened in the 19th century. You told me yesterday, yeah, that's pretty much what I meant. So when I say it was the 19-something, that's the English way of saying it. If I say 19 voetsak, I am basically casting you through time and space itself into the 19th century. That's how powerful it is. Nogal, another good one. Of all things, term expressing a measure of surprise. So when someone says, "Ja, bro, I got myself a new bakkie yesterday," you say, "Nogal, yeah, you know." So the Buddha was? Yes. Noit means never. No way, unbelievable. Now we're getting to the time, boys. You guys are going to learn Doctor Strange time travel. No literally means immediately now, also means narrow. No gals. No gals. No maidens. No, it actually just means of all things. No net means just now. Refers to an event that happens within a few minutes ago. There's also other meanings, but yes. No, or now. Contrary to the original meaning of the English word now, it means in due time, and can therefore mean anything from in the next 5 minutes to in the next 5 years. Give me my girls. So if I say, guys, I'm going to do it now, I'm going to do it in the next 5 minutes or in the next 5 years. No telling which or when. No wonder foreigners are always late in South Africa. Net no means just now, which can refer to an event that happened a little while ago, maybe within 12 hours, I saw him just now, or sometime in the future, I'm coming just now, which could mean anything from 5 minutes to 5 years or never. Guys, I'll address the allegations just now. 5 minutes, 5 years, never. You never know. You have to be South African to know. Net is just. But you're South Africans are a different breed. If you visit someone, make a joke like, should I clean the kitchen? They would tell you to go do it. South Africans are not sure. Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, should I do dishes? Yeah, go do it. They're not shy. People are always surprised at just how massive Afrikaners can get. Whew. Like I'm 6'4", I'm 194 centimeters, give or take. And even I get dwarfed by 14-year-olds here. They're huge. Like I remember when Eben, one of our rugby players for our national team, he stands at 203 centimeters, okay? This is a giant of a man. He stood next to a 14-year-old high schooler. That 14-year-old was 205 centimeters, okay? He was dwarfed by a little kid. That's how big Afrikaners get, guys. It's no joke. Especially if you go there to the Idea Net now. Yep, pretty much. So if you go to like the Free State, where you see all the guys out there in the plaas, aren't Afrikaners descendants of Dutch? They are told yes. But it depends on, which Afrikaners. So the way it works is about 50% of the Afrikaners are Dutch descendants. About 40% are German descendants. That's me. I'm from the German line of Boers. And about 10% is the Huguenot French. I'm not from the 10% line. Okay, I'm from the German line. And so I think collectively, over the last 400 years of eating nothing but red meat and milk, we have grown massive. My one friend looked like a 32-year-old age of 10. I believe it. I've seen it. Name the video in Afrikaans. It was in French. 9! What was I gonna say? 9, I'm not French. What was I busy saying? Oh yeah, so about half of us are Dutch, 40% of us are German, and then 10% are French. But regardless of which line you're from, all of them are huge. Like, you could meet someone who's got, I don't know, maybe a Kutsia, 2 meters. You could meet someone from a Dutch descendant, 2 meters. Frenchie, 2 meters. 10% baguette, 9! And when I talk percentages, I don't mean I'm 50% Dutch, I'm 40% German, I'm 10% French, okay? That's not how it works. 50% of the population are Dutch descendants. 40% of the population are German descendants, and 10% for French. In fact, there's a joke here that the Afrikaners make up the last remnants of heterosexual French people who came here 400 years ago. Le Grand Baguette, yes. They have to make the houses bigger because every generation is getting taller than the one before. Actually, scarily true. I think it's my little sister, right? I think she's like 14. I think she's like 184 centimeters. 185 centimeters, and she's like 14. So it's huge. Her friend, same age, same grade, dwarfs me, and I'm almost 2 meters. See, he speaks the French, actually 9! And so by answering that, he confirmed he's a fanboy. 9! I'm from the German line, same, but the same. For real, for real. 9. Like, you just look at some of the kids, all the 14-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 15-year-olds, huge. Like, you get some random kid who's like 14 and he looks bigger than Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Like, that's the other thing. The Dutch, sure, they're tall, but South Africans are the Afrikaners, they're tall and they're broad. So they're not just height-wise, they look like Hulk. Insert. I'm generic to white. Yep. Exactly, it proves the allegation's true. 9. You can be a German life fanboy, don't worry about it, bitch, we love you. No! 9! I've seen 12-year-olds I look up to, dude, it's scary. Like, if you ever go to an Afrikaans school, middle school or high school, at least like 30% of them look down upon you. And I'm almost 2 meters. That is terrifying. Like, you look at our best and brightest that are in, like, say the rugby, you know, these guys are chilling there at like 210 centimeters. Or maybe our best boxers, our world-class athletes, they always have an uncle or a cousin at the bar who is even bigger than them. I'm a Hoji and oof. You would get dwarfed by the average Afrikaner. Like most, like, if you had to Google, the average height probably comes, I think, to about 6'3" or 6'2", which I think is like 190, 188 centimeters, give or take, as the average. But in reality, I've seen lots of dudes hit above 2 meters. For example, my grandfather was 2 meters tall, like on the dot, and he was the shortest among his 12 siblings. You would think tall people are thin. It's like, no, no. You think tall people? Okay, you think, you know, like the skeleton that's too... Come to South Africa, it's actual giants. I was 6 feet to 16. Yeah, it's about 180 centimeters. That's a common problem. Had some children in Sugeru who were taller and looked older than me. You will try to hit a date with the girl and go straight ahead from behind bars. Same for you guys. Damn. I remember in high school, my girlfriend, when I had one, was 6'3". She was 6'3". She was about the same height as me. Her parents were taller. And she wasn't even the tallest in her school. 5'8", from the size of a child. Like, yes. Literally. Hold on, let me do a quick calculator. What is 60 plus 8? That's 68 inches. Multiplied by 2.54. So, simp, I'm sorry, but you are about 10 centimeters shorter than my little sister who's 14. Give or take. She's about a... I'm starting to believe South Africans are the next giants of the world. Literally. They are mighty. 179. That's actually not bad. That's a decent height. It's a decent height. I actually remember reading an article from like the 1800s. They talked about, I think it was the British royal family that came to South Africa. And one of the train conductors that they met was, I believe, 8 feet. And he was an Afrikaner, and he was 8 feet tall. That was huge. I think the world record for the documented height was 8'11", but that was due to gigantism. But the guy that they met at the train station, I think he didn't have gigantism. I think it was just naturally that huge. I'll see if I can find the article again. It was so huge. Boss, bros into giantesses. There's your new home. Yes. Imagine 120 years from now, 12 feet is considered short. Damn. That's even if Afrikaners existed 120 years from now. I mean, it does make sense that you're all that tall. You've been bred for farming stock. Yeah. We are basically the farmers of the world. You think the Dutch are good farmers, dude? Afrikaners can make stuff grow out of dirt. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the article. Not the one about the height, but someone mentions that. I put it in history. Hold on. I actually found the image. Hold on. Copy message link. Where is that? Okay, let me go and paste. Alright, guys. The person on the right is Ibn. He is 203 centimeters tall. He is one of our rugby players. The boy on the left is 14 years old and he's 205 centimeters. And he probably has a brother or an uncle that's taller. 14 years old and he is a mountain of a man. Now imagine when he is 20. And now, whenever I say that I am short, I mean it. I am a midget compared to these boys. Oh, well, let me see if I can find, where was that other piece I posted? It was something I want to read to you guys. Just about the whole, Afrikaner culture. I'm gonna go, alright, cheers, man. Alright, so this was talking about the Boer republics back in the 1900s. I think it was the 1900s, yeah. So there was a law in the two republics which made it incumbent upon all burghers, so the mountainers, the Afrikaners, between the ages of 16 and 60 to join a commando, or commando with a K, and go to war when it was necessary. So in times of warfare, the entire male population are soldiers. Not like, you know, if you got in the US, where I think you got like a million or so soldiers, or a couple 100,000. The entire male population is a soldier. And this extends to grandfathers, to fathers, and to sons. It would be at a point where children would go to war with their fathers and fight side by side with them. And so you can imagine if you had like a population like 60 million, you'd probably get about maybe 20 million, if not more, soldiers in times of war. And this is excluding things like drafts. So that's pretty much very much baked into the Afrikaner culture of defending your homeland because of how much you love your God and your people. So there was no law, however, which prevented a man of whatever youthfulness or age to assist in the defense of his country. So if you're a 12-year-old, you wish to defend your country, you may do so. If you're 92, you are allowed to go to the front lines. And in consequence, the Boer commandos contained almost the entire male population between the ages of 13 and 80 years. Can you imagine if America did this? Just for example, how many Americans are there? It's like, what, 300 million? So can you imagine fielding 150 million soldiers in times of battle? That is huge! I think at the moment there's like 10 million Boers left in the world. So if you had to field every male in times of war, we'd probably be able to field 5 million soldiers. And they're all pretty much bigger than all the other soldiers. So yeah, in peaceful times, the Boer farmer rarely traveled away from his home unless he was accompanied by his family. He would have felt the pangs of homesickness if he had not been continually surrounded by his wife and children. Familie is very important in the life of the Afrikaner. When war began, it was not an easy matter for the burgher to leave his home for an indefinite period, and in order that he might not be lonely, he took with him all his sons who were strong enough to carry rifles. If you were 10, you could hold your dad's rifle. You and your brothers went with your father to war, and you fought as a family to defend your country and your family. The Boer youth develops into manhood early in his life in the mild South African climate. Remember what I showed you before, the 14-year-old who dwarfed an adult man who was over 2 meters? That's exactly what it's talking about here. Boys of 12 and 13 years is the equal in physical development of the American or European youth at the age of 16 or 17. We need to increase the numbers of people time to kidnap the Dutch for legal reasons. Yes. So our 12-year-olds can probably throw hands with your 17-year-olds and likely win. So yeah, he was accustomed to live on the open veld, in the open field, and hunting with his elders. And when he saw that all his former companions were going to war, he begged for permission to accompany the commando. So when wartime happens, 12-year-olds were begging to fight alongside their commandos, their brothers and their fathers. The boerboer of 12 does not wear knickerbocker trousers like the youth of the age in many countries. He is clothed exactly like his father and being almost as tall. Yes, we have 12-year-olds the size of adult men. His youthful appearance is not so noticeable when he is among a large number of his countrymen. Scores of boys not more than 12 years old were the lagers in Natal, and hundreds of less age than the minimum prescribed by military law were in every commander in the country. When Ladysmith was still being besieged, one youth of 11 years was conspicuous in the Standerton lager. He seemed to be a mere child, yet he had the patriotism of 10 men. And I think this is talking about the Boer Wars. He followed his fathers everywhere, whether into battle or the spring for water. And so, the culture in Afrikaners is probably very different to the West, where you would look very much down upon child soldiers. That is seen as like, almost like a war crime, just on how much it's looked down as a very bad thing. But in the Afrikaner culture, it was an honor to fight alongside your brothers and your fathers. Like, it is completely flipped. When my father is injured or killed, I will take his rifle, was his excuse for being away from home. This is talking about, 12-year-olds. When General de Wet captured 7 cannon from the enemy at the Battle of Senapos, 2 of the volunteers to operate the cannons were boys aged 14 and 15. Peter J. Hinning of Potchefstroom Commando, who was injured in the Battle of Schosneck on December 11th, was less than 15 years old, yet his valor in battle was as conspicuous as that of any of the burghers who took part in the engagement. Tinus H.C. Mulder of the Pretoria Commando celebrated his 16th birthday only a few days before he was twice wounded at Ladysmith on November 9th. And William Francois, so I think there's where you find the French descendants. A relative of the Commandant General was only 15 years old when he was wounded at Ladysmith on October 30th. The Battle of Kutusrand, 15-year-old Peter de Jager of the Bethlehem Commando, where Jesus was born, was seriously injured by a shell while he was conveying his injured father from the field. So this is a 15-year-old man, probably got his dad on his shoulder, and he gets hit by a mortar shell. With the army of the General Cronje captured at Paardersberg with no less than 100 burghers who had not reached the 16th year, and among those who had escaped from the lager, in the riverbed were 2 Bloemfontein boys named Rooks, aged 12 and 14. At Colenso, a Wakkerstroom youth of 12 years captured 3 English scouts and compelled them to march ahead of him to the commander's tent. A 12-year-old captures 3 adult soldiers. The amount of testosterone that I'm gaining just from reading this historical piece is insane. So, during one of the lulls in the fighting at Marcusfontein, a burgher of 15 years crept up to within 20 yards of 3 British soldiers and yelled, "Hands up!" Thinking that there were other Boers in the vicinity, the men dropped their guns and became prisoners of the boy, who took them to General Delare's tent. 15-year-old, taken prisoner of 3 adult soldiers. When the general asked the boy how he had secured the prisoners, the lad replied nonchalantly, "Oh, I surrounded them." What? Guys, I think we need Giga Chads in chat. He captured 3 British soldiers, and when asked how he did it, he simply says, "Oh, I surrounded them." The one-man army. These youths who accompanied the commander were known as the Penkomp Regiment, a regiment composed of school children, and in their connection and amusing story has been current in the Boer country ever since the War of 1881, when large numbers of children less than 15 years old went with their fathers to battle. This is what I'm mentioning about kids between the ages of 18 and 12, they go with your fathers to battle. They're basically Like Vikings. You fight for glory with your dad. The story is that after the fight at Majuba Hill, while peace negotiations were in progress, Sir Evelyn Wood, the commander of the British forces, asked General Joubert to see the famous Penkop regiment. The Boer general gave an order that the regiment should be drawn up in a line before his tent. And when this had been done, General Joubert led General Wood into the open and introduced him to the corps. Sir Evelyn was skeptical for some time and imagined that General Joubert was joking. So he thought that this entire course of children was a complete joke, but he was dead serious. More like Space Marines, true. But when it was explained to him that the youths really were much vaunted Pencom regiment, he advised them to return to their school books. So this general, he's like, okay, show me your infamous regiment of child soldiers. Look, here they are, and these little kids, freshly out of middle school. Nah, it's got to be a joke. But it wasn't. And he's like, alright, that's enough warfare. Go back to studying. That is the life, ladies and gentlemen, of the Boer soldier. I think I might have one more. Let me see if I can find it. There we go. Found it. Okay, copy link. There we go. This is from like the same historical article. Okay, let me see, where am I? Here. Another striking feature of the Boerloggers was the deep religious feeling which manifested itself in 1,000 different ways. We were modern-day crusaders. It is an easy matter for an irreligious person to scoff at men who pass through campaign with prayer and hymn singing, and it was just as easy to laugh at the man who reads his testament at intervals of shooting the enemy. So between popping headshots, they would read, "Thus saith the Lord." The Boer was a religious man always, and when he went to war he placed as much faith in prayer and his testament as his rifle. He believed that his cause was just, that the Lord would favor those fighting for a righteous cause in a righteous spirit. On October 11, before the burghers crossed the frontier at Lying's Neck, a religious service was conducted. They had church before they went to war. Every burgher in the commandos knelt on the ground and uttered a prayer for success and the speedy ending of the campaign. Hymns were sung, and for a full hour the hills, whereon almost 20 years before many of the same burghers sang and prayed after the victory at Majuba, were resounding with the religious and patriotic songs of men going forward to kill and be killed. Based true. Unironically, Space Marines. In their lockers, the Buddhists had religious services at daybreak and after sunset every single day, whether they were near the enemy or far away. At first, the novelty of being awakened early in the morning by the voices of a large commando of burghers was not conducive to religious feeling in the mind of a stranger, but a short stay in the lockers caused anger to turn to admiration. After sunset, the burghers gathered round camps, in groups around campfires, and made the countryside re-echo with the sound of their deep, bass voices united in Dutch hymns and psalms of praise and thanksgiving. Literally crusaders. Whether they ate a big meal from a well-equipped table, or whether they leaped from their horses to make a hasty meal of biltong and bread, they reverently bowed their heads and asked for a blessing before and after eating. Hey, thank you so much for the wishes, situation. Glad you could make it, man. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. We're busy learning about the late 1800s to early 1900s Boer Afrikaner culture when it comes to specifically times of war. And as I mentioned before, about 40% of Afrikaners are descended from the Germans. And so we're reading in the previous extract how there were boys at the age of 12 years old who would captured 3 adult British soldiers, and when his commanding officer asked him how he did it, he replied in a monotone, nonchalant way, "I surrounded them." Imagine a 12-year-old brings to you 3 adult soldiers in captivity, and you ask him how did he do it, he says, "I surrounded them." That is the level of giga-chattery of the children that were used in battle for the Boer nation. And in most cultures, child soldiers is seen as something that is very distasteful, something that you look down upon. But in times of battle, if you could pick up a rifle, you and your brothers went to war with your father. And so it was something that you did as a family of men. You would go and you would protect your family, your nation, and just your pride as being Afrikaner. So it was something they took very seriously. And they were also reading another extract where it says boys of about 12 years old were equal in physical, I suppose you could say, physicality to the European and Americans 16 and 17-year-olds. So our 12-year-old Afrikaner kids, they could probably throw hands and completely demolish 17-year-olds. And then I showed a picture earlier of this, one of our rugby players who's 203 centimeters, stood next to a 14-year-old kid who was 205 centimeters. He got dwarfed by a little kid. But yeah, anyways. And so we're busy reading about, during the time of warfare, there was a very deep religious element where before and after battle, during battle, there would be prayers, there would be church services. In between firing rounds at your enemy, you would be singing songs of praise and saying, "Thus saith the Lord." And so Chat basically compared them to I compared them to Crusaders. Chat said they were basically Space Marines. But yeah, anyways. When the battle was concluded, whether the field was won or lost, prayers were offered to God, to the God of battles. Basically, the Lord your God, Yahweh. In the reports which generals and commandments made to the war departments, victories and defeats were invariably ascribed to the will of God. And such praises as, "All glory belongs to the Lord of hosts who led us, and God gave us victory, and divine favor guided our footsteps," are frequent. When one is a stranger of the Boers and unacquainted with the simple faith which they place divine guidance, these religious manifestations may appear inopportune in warfare, but it is necessary to observe that the Boer burger, in all his various actions and emotions, to know that he is sincere in his religious belief, and he endeavors to be a Christian in deed as well as word. So yeah. Basically, we was Crusaders, boys. The Boer army, like Cromwell's troopers, could fight as well as pray, but in reality, it was not a fighting organization in the sense that warfare was agreeable to the burghers, so we only ever fought defensively. The Boer proved he could fight when it was a necessity for it, but to a great majority of them, it was heartrending to slay their fellow human beings. The Boer's hand was better adapted to the stem of a pipe than to the stock of an army rifle, and he would rather have engaged in former peaceful pursuit had he not believed that it was a holy war in which he was engaged. We be crusading, boys. We be doing a little bit of jihad. So, that he was not eager for fighting was displayed in 100 different ways. He loved his home more than the lagers at the front, and he took every advantage of every opportunity to return to his home and family. He lusted not for battle, and he seldom engaged in one unless he firmly believed that success depended partly upon his individual presence. He did not go into battle because he had the loss of blood, for he abhorred the slaughter of men, and it was not an extraordinary spectacle to see a Boer weeping beside the corpse of a British soldier. So we weep beside the corpse of our enemies. On the field, after the Spion Kop battle, where Boers guns did their greatest execution, there were scores of bare-headed Boers who deplored war, and amidst ejaculations of "Poor Timmy," and this useless slaughter, brushed away the tears that rolled down over their brows and beards. Never a Boer was seen to exult over a victory. Feet fan, aloo. They might say that is good when they heard of a Spionkop or a Marcusfontein, but never a shout of any other of the ordinary methods of expression joy. So when you are victorious in a battle, there's, praises, there's singing, there's joy, there's shouting, there's celebration. To an Afrikaner Boer, there is no exultation of victory. There is, acknowledgement that God has given you victory, and then you are weeping for the men that you have slain. So the way in which we culturally and religiously conduct warfare is very, very different from how people in other parts of the world will do it. The foreigners in the army frequently were beside themselves with joy after victories, but the Boers looked stolicity on and never partook in any of the demonstrations. Good soldiers, but hated war. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to read that extract so you guys get a little bit of taste of the Boer culture. But yeah, anyways, I am super tired and now I have a headache. We've been live for almost 6.5 hours, boys. I need a breakies. I need a breakies. But yeah, I want to thank so much to everybody who came to this glorious first year anniversary. We had so much fun, played a bit of games, learned a little bit of culture, you know. We watched some memes of me being an absolute nimbo. Take care, Fox. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, man. I want to thank everybody who followed today. Thank you guys for being so supportive of the last year. Some of you guys have been here for months, if not since the very beginning. Thank you so much. And of course, thank you so much. Extra mention, you know, to all those people who have helped me here. Whether it's Malto Beans buying me all the games to play for stream, whether it's the guys who drop subscriptions and biddies, especially Delexarian. He gave me $100 in bits today. That was insane. Thanks so much to you. Siren? Okay, then we're rating Siren. But yeah. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. I hope to have much more success in future, become even bigger and better, and of course, you know, stream for much longer. But yeah, could not have done it without you guys. Appreciate it. Bye, girls. Toodaloo. Thanks for the stream. Take care, and we'll wait for more femboysness in the future. Congrats on the 1 year. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. Alright. Cheers, chatters. GG's in the anime. Thanks.